In today's podcast, we're going to learn that if revenue is how you keep score, then you're playing the wrong game. Welcome to the Intentional Success Podcast, where we unpack the top strategies, explore business trends, and drill down into best practices to help your live events production business grow and scale on purpose. I'm your host, Tom Stimson. Welcome back, everybody. Today is episode 3 of the things I want you to work on to get ready for 2025. We're trying to get rid of your rental mindset. Here are the 3 things I've told you that are key to getting this process started. Number 1, you have to fix your labor pricing plan. Okay, your pricing model needs to be profitable. You have variable costs of goods sold. They need to be money makers. It starts with pricing your talent correctly. Number 2, you need to have some dedicated staff, or probably more dedicated staff, that only works on planning your upcoming events. People who plan and go out and execute events are a time waster, they are a money suck, and they keep you from being the business that you want to be. Number 3, today's topic. I'm going to teach you how to turn down business when you're too busy and how it's going to benefit you. Windfall revenue should never come at the expense of selling and planning future work, right? Let's change our relationship. We have a rental relationship with revenue. I want you to have a profitable relationship with revenue. So, first of all, I'm going to give you a tool here. All in this book, Demand, How to Build a Smarter Sales Funnel So You Can Turn Down Better Business. This is my marketing book. It tells you how to do outreach better, how to do digital marketing better, how to process those leads so that you can have ideal business at your fingertips all of the time instead of just sometimes when you get lucky. And it's that business, it's that lucky business, which is part of our problem, right? So the bane of our industry is windfall revenue, right? Because it gets conflated with core revenue. What is the core revenue of your business, and why is this job here? Why are you telling me you're doing $2 million worth of business a year when you have an $800,000 show? You're a $1.2 million business with a $800,000 windfall. Windfall revenue, my definition is, 1, any customer that's more than 30% of your business is a windfall customer. Okay, that customer can hold you ransom for lower margins, higher service. They can dictate who your employees are, who they have to have on their show. They can be a total pain in the you-know-what, okay, because they are in control. You will behave differently for a windfall client than you would a normal client. Now, a single job that is more than your average month's revenue. Think about that. You can't be $1 million company and do a $250,000 show and act like that's normal. It is not normal, okay? Big jobs are cool, yay, but they aren't the goal. Big profit is the goal. And big jobs, windfall jobs, get in the way of the bread and butter work that we need to build. We need to have recurring. The number of smaller customers or normal sized customers we need to have get pushed away by windfall work. Another windfall is any job that exceeds your readily available resources. Now, it's okay to be tapped out sometimes of the year. Sometimes of the year, you're super busy, you're going to be tapped out. That extra job that you figured out you could pull off, that's a windfall job. Great if you can do it, okay? But instead of trying to be more busy in an already busy month, focus on being more busy the rest of the year. Some of those resources could have been used for something better, like the jobs we need next month or the month after. That's where we need to be focusing. We're already busy this month. Okay, we don't need one extra job. We need one extra job every other month. So when we build our companies to handle windfalls as if they were normal, we end up with non-scalable employees. We have too many employees. We own too much gear. We get too big of an office. And then we start to freak out on low revenue months. Here's your gut check. If you need to chase revenue during slow seasons, you have too much overhead. If you need to take on non-ideal work that you wouldn't do other times of the year, you have too much overhead. Okay? Get the scalability says you need to have the overhead for the business that you are, not the business you would like to be or the business you only are a couple of weeks or months out of the year. So you don't need to turn down windfall revenue. First of all, we just need to manage it differently. We need to put it in a little bit different headspace. And this is what the scalable model is all about. It's selling, planning, and admin exist in your company to move large volumes of work through the system, while the majority of the personnel that is doing the execution are outsourced. Okay? Remember, the right revenue is inherently more profitable. That's part of what makes it the right revenue. You have certain types of customers and projects that you are better set up to handle, and you know what they are. And that doesn't mean that you can't handle larger or smaller projects or simpler or more complex, but you do need to know what your sweet spot is, because that's where we would need to put most of our energy. Now, the goals for our selling team are to close more ideal business with its inherently higher gross profit and easier to fulfill needs. Let's do that. Your capacity for this work is limited only by your ability to outsource. In other words, you could do a lot more business during busy season if you chose to, as long as it fits into your wheelhouse. Extra windfalls are just going to, they're going to wreck your business. It's going to make you harder to service the types of customers you really rely upon. But this podcast was about turning down ideal business. Now, why in the world would I turn down ideal business? Because you have too much. Isn't that great? Isn't that what we actually want? You want more work than you can easily handle so you can turn down jobs when you are busy. Scalable companies are not dependent on windfalls to be profitable, so they can turn down extra work when they're busy. And what happens when you turn down work? Well, the owner cries a little bit. They kind of curl up in the fetal position. They have a crisis. They have a moment. And then they start telling everybody that, wow, I turned down my first job ever. And they will talk about that for weeks and weeks and weeks. But when they're over that, and we find out that we can turn down non-ideal work or ideal work if we have too much of it, some things start to happen that are really cool. Number one, your team's going to stop hedging resources. Spoiler alert, they're holding back resources. Okay, they're sandbagging you. If they know that you're going to limit how busy you'll allow the company to be, that you're not trying to burn everybody out, they will manage to a higher level, knowing that you're not going to exceed it. Simple psychology, right? 2, outsourcing becomes a year-round need. When we only outsource a few weeks out of the year, our resource pool, the bench, as I like to call it, they shrink. You don't have enough work for them, okay? They're not interested in you. You only call them when you're busy. Guess what? They're already busy. If you start to hire freelancers even in slow months, this sounds like it's an added cost, but this is in lieu of having too many full-time employees. So we can keep fewer people on staff that we're having to chase revenue for to keep them busy, right? In scalable companies, 100% of your team is focused on selling jobs, planning those jobs, and administrating the company. If their focus is on doing shows, then we have to have shows for them to do because they're overhead. Number 3, once we turn down jobs, our relationship with job cost is going to change, because in order to turn down jobs, you're going to see jobs for how much gross profit they can earn instead of how much direct costs they incur. Right now, when you're busy, you're going to turn down a job because, oh my goodness, look how much we have to outsource. We're too busy to outsource that much. We don't have the capacity. Maybe we don't have the bench. Instead, because you're not going to be overburdening yourself, you're going to look at the job going, hey, this job, yeah, there's some outsource. We got to run some projectors. We got to hire people like we always do. But look at all the gross profit we can make off of this. That becomes more important than the revenue. When you change your relationship with job cost, you're also going to become better at pricing, because since you are focused on gross profit, you're going, hey, if we price this better, the gross profit would be better. So we're not pricing to get the revenue, we're pricing to get the gross profit. And any opportunity will be measured in expected costs plus expected or desired profit. Cost plus margin means you can stop using the weird retail pricing calculus we use now. Here's another benefit of turning down jobs is you're going to have the brain space for doing logical pricing with your customers based on margin than some arcane method that people my age made up for you, 30 or 40 years ago. Number 5, turning down non-ideal customers or non-ideal projects will have a positive effect on your customers too. Wait, what? How? Yeah. The buyers who are always price shopping, but then they say, well, we really want to work with you, but we have to go to 3 companies. Now they have to make a choice. Okay? Because what they're saying is, we don't value you enough to not waste your time because we want to hire somebody else. We want to see if you'll make a math mistake for us. Now, on the other hand, buyers with small budgets won't be afraid to call you because you judge jobs by gross profit. You don't say things like, oh, I'm sorry, we have a minimum $15,000 show budget. No, you're going to talk to customers saying, hey, here's a job I can make $10,000 on. I can charge you $15,000. This is, and spend $5,000. Why wouldn't I do that? Right? So we have a different relationship now with our customers. We want better customers. We want customers who will let us make the profit we deserve. Number 6, your sales team can now focus, and they will learn to focus on ideal customers. They will do a better job of qualifying and filtering opportunities because they won't be judged by the size of the project. Okay? You will learn to say, stop bringing me these big, low margin jobs during busy season and get me 5 small jobs in slow season. Okay? We'll quit patting them on the head for behaviors that we don't need. We don't need a $1 million job on a $5 million company. Okay? You need a couple of $250,000, $300,000 jobs. You'll probably make more money. Okay. Number 7, your sales funnel. Again, we're back to the sales funnel thing. Your sales funnel will be a more accurate forecasting tool. There'll be fewer jobs in there that you don't know how they're going to turn out or when the buyer is going to make their final decision, because you're not talking to people who are going to string you along. And when your forecast actually is slow, when you don't see enough in your funnel, you know exactly where to put marketing and business development energy, because that's what builds the top of your sales funnel. We can't just sit around and wait for the phone to ring. We can't wait faster for RFPs to show up in our email. And we don't have to swing for the fences to make up for being behind. We'll make profit year round. We can have less revenue than next year and be happy with it as long as it was ideal revenue and it was highly profitable. So the lesson of scalability is that if you know your costs and you apply the correct margins for that demand, you keep your selling and planning teams off of show site, and out of billable show positions, and you learn how to turn down non-ideal business, you can make money year round. You won't freak out over year-to-year changes in revenue. You will reduce stress by working in your wheelhouse more of the time, and that means you'll make more money and you'll have more fun doing it. If you need help implementing the marketing side of your sales funnel for 2025, visit my website at trstimson.com. Click on Let's Chat. You and I can get together in 2025. Don't forget to read Demand. There's some great tips in there on how to build your sales funnel while you're sleeping. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe, share, and review this podcast. If you want to find out more about today's episode, go to trstimson.com/podcast, where you'll find the show notes, related links, and tons of other valuable resources. If you haven't already subscribed to the Intentional Success Podcast, please do so, and I'd greatly appreciate if you would rate and review the show. Also, if you think you might be a good fit to work together or want more information about the Stimson Group, I'd love to hear from you. Visit trstimson.com for more information.